See, I believe that there's a misconception between confidence and arrogance, and that confidence is built at specific points. Hello, and welcome back to my channel for professional chefs who aspire to elevate their leadership so they can lead, mentor, and teach the next generation executing phenomenal cuisine. I'm Master Chef Gerald Ford, and I've worked almost 30 years in the culinary industry. And when I think back to some of the pinnacle moments of my life, I think of passing the Master Chef exam. I think of making the Culinary Olympic team, becoming the captain, my first leadership role in a platinum club or in a AAA rated hotel. I think back and I realize that those were symptoms much later on of earlier processes. It leads me to think of my first bronze medal in a competition and how 20 years later that led me to the Culinary Olympic team, or the first time that I broke a hollandaise and was taught how to fix it. See, I believe that there's a misconception between confidence and arrogance. I think that confidence comes from personally specific things and some universal lessons, and that confidence is built at specific points. Arrogance, on the other hand, I believe is simply uninformed optimism. So at every level of our progression, there's different events that build confidence and which slowly grows to consistency and excellence. Every step of the way, as a cook, as a sous chef, and as an executive chef. Let's delve into a crucial question: where does confidence come from? I think this is a journey that shapes us from our first steps in the kitchen to our role as leaders, shaping the future. Let's explore. So let's break this down into 3 parts. At the root, looking back, and taking responsibility. I believe that at the root of confidence is knowing what needs to be done and what you can do to get it near to done. In the kitchen, that starts with mentorship. Fundamentally good people showing you the way, who are also great sources of useful information. At its simplest level, it's a matter of understanding that if I do this work, I can reach this result. That takes a little bit of internal vision, and it also takes some trust. The root of confidence lies in knowing what needs to be done and how to do it. This journey begins with mentorship, learning from those who not only possess the skills, but also the heart to guide. It's also about absorbing valuable information and applying things differently as you make those mistakes. Eventually, that leads to the art of mastering problem solving, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Confidence at its core is the result of purposeful action leading to desired outcome. So now looking back. When I look back at what it took for me in order to be a confident line cook, I needed to have the right menu in front of me. I needed to know that I had my mise en place to cook the right items for that menu, and even what my items were on that menu. I needed to know that I had my tools in place to cook for service. I needed to know that I had my fat, my salt, my spoons, all set up on my station so that I could properly do the cooking that I needed to do. I needed to know how to do that cooking. There were a lot of the little micro tasks and micro pieces, and we'll talk about my thoughts on micromanagement another time. But some of those things needed to be micro trained. I needed to know that I had my plates, how to plate those plates, everything that I was assigned as my task for service, and then anything else that needed to be there. I think one of the best ways to kind of paint this picture is think in terms when you look back of what goes into tasting, right? It evolves at different levels. It evolves through the different positions. As a cook, you have to learn how to taste. Then as a sous chef, you need to make sure that your cooks are tasting and make sure that things taste right. Then as a chef, you have to teach the team how you want them to taste and make sure that everybody else is doing their part in that same process. See, I believe that confidence comes from looking back and seeing and recognizing what those different things were that you did that made you successful at that time. As a sous chef, it's different than when it was as a cook. It means something just a little bit different. Now, as a sous chef, knowing that you're capable of fixing things is a confidence indicator. Realize that as a sous chef, it was necessary for me to learn how to quickly repair refrigeration or fix gaskets, learn how to be a social worker or fix a grease trap. I had to learn how to develop skills because my responsibilities outside of the kitchen were growing as well. Both of those things build you as a person, which inevitably build you as a chef. I remembering back to the fact that earning confidence came from doing things through trial and error, and inevitably you have to master the ability to solve a billion tiny problems constantly. And then as we get better, problems get solved. Quality isn't compromised. Looking back is about looking at the different stages of your own journey and recognizing the different skills that you had to develop in order to be successful in those roles, the things that you did to lead to the outcome that was positive. Looking back, my journey from cook to executive chef taught me the essentials of confidence at every level. It started with knowing that I had the right menu, the mise en place, and then showing me that I needed those things in order to be confident about how I was going to execute. Then knowing that my food was going to taste right, knowing that I was checking that things did taste right, knowing that I had instructed everybody on how I wanted things to taste, shown them to taste and how to taste. Looking back, there's a slew of other things that we do that make us feel confident in our roles, those things shouldn't be dismissed. Those are the building blocks of confidence. And the building blocks of your confidence make a great segue to being the building blocks for someone else's. So now what do you do with that? Now we take responsibility. Confidence factors in most kitchens are all very similar, but they all require that we accept responsibility. Responsibility for ourselves, responsibility for our food, for our meals, for our team, for our tools, for our facility. And then taking that responsibility and the lessons that we've learned and now reinvesting them into the people that are around us. In essence, we're going to make sure that we take the behaviors that have worked and separate them from the ones that haven't. And so while we're taking responsibility to be that mentor and that guiding light, what I would encourage you to do is not create something from scratch, because I'm a firm believer that there's no reason to create something from scratch that you've already done before. But what I want you to consider is document. If you're open to it, start to document those pieces of what you did to be successful. And if you're looking for a solution to building confidence in your people, the question I invite you to ask yourself, or ask your sous chef who's trying to teach somebody else how to do the job, is what made me successful at this when I was in that position? As a chef, you're now capable of building these checklists of all of these very specific points and things that were done and then sharing them because you've already been through it. It's been tested in the process. You just have to reverse engineer that a little bit. That question of what made me successful when I was doing this is going to be a key to unlocking so many of those pieces. Now, the next big piece here, and this is critical, is to make sure that you're looking at what you needed then, not from the level that you're at now. Even as an executive chef, confidence looks a little bit different, right? You would know this as it does as a culinary director or even as a master chef. There's always room to grow. There's always room to learn. But there's confidence built while you're building confidence. Yes, I meant to say that. It becomes a snowball. It becomes positive forward momentum. It's like becoming a level 2 black belt executive chef or developing the skills to be successful in a new operation. There's other things that need to take place in order to be confident because now you're stretching and now you're needing to grow even more. New problems mean that you are making progress. Confidence in new environments comes from knowing that you've solved the problems or similar problems in the past. When I was cooking at the Master Chef exam, I could quiet down the voice that was in my head warning me of failure because I knew that I was capable of making my window, that I was capable of getting the work done in that amount of time. When 3 breakfast cooks call out and I need to go and execute breakfast, I have no concerns about that because of the overnights that I worked at the Ritz-Carlton and tour buses arrived. Confidence comes from doing, but it can also be trained by showing. Taking responsibility transforms confidence from a personal trait into a team-wide culture. Documenting what has led to success enables us to replicate and scale our achievements. Asking yourself, what made me successful, helps identify the checklists and processes that underpin confidence at each level where necessary. As you progress through the ranks, confidence is going to evolve, and it's going to highlight the fact that you're going to find yourself with new challenges and new opportunities to continue growing and learning. In our culinary careers, confidence is not a destination, but a journey of continuous growth, learning, and adaptation. Whether you're a line cook or a master chef, the essence of building confidence remains the same: mentorship, reflection, taking responsibility. Embrace each challenge as a step forward, and remember, new problems signify progress. I'm Gerald Ford, inviting you to reflect on your journey and build confidence that inspires those around you. Thank you for joining me in exploring the foundations of culinary confidence. I invite you to let me know if you would like to explore where your confidence comes from and how that lays the foundation for a culinary program by commenting below, and I'll happily talk to you soon. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe for more videos like these. I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you. And remember, the key to avoiding uninformed optimism is knowing what work needs to be done to arrive at your result, and then doing it, of course.